Success isn't complicated. Life isn't complicated, but simple doesn't mean easy. There's a difference between simple and easy that most people never understand, and that misunderstanding keeps them trapped in mediocrity for decades. Simple means it can be understood. Easy means it requires no effort. And here's what I've learned after all these years of studying success, studying failure, studying human behavior. The most powerful things in life are always simple to understand, but require tremendous discipline to implement. The mindset I'm going to share with you today isn't new. It's ancient wisdom dressed in modern clothes. It's been around for thousands of years, tested by time, proven by results, and ignored by the masses. And perhaps that's why it works so well. You see, if everyone knew this and everyone applied this, then everyone would be successful. Everyone would be wealthy. Everyone would be happy. But that's not how life works. Life rewards the few who are willing to think differently, act differently, and live differently. Now, before we dive deep into this life-changing mindset, let me share something with you that might surprise you. Most people think they want to change their lives, but they don't really want to change their lives. They want their lives to change. There's a massive difference between those two statements. One requires you to become someone different. The other is hoping that somehow, magically, your circumstances will improve while you remain exactly the same person you've always been. Here's the truth that might sting a little. You are where you are because of who you are. Not because of the economy, not because of your background, not because of your education, not because of your circumstances. You are where you are because of who you are. And if you want to change where you are, you must first be willing to change who you are. This is the foundation of the mindset that will transform your life immediately. But here's the beautiful part, and this is where hope enters the picture. Just as you are where you are because of who you are, you can be somewhere else because you can become someone else. You can develop new habits, new disciplines, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. The same power that got you where you are can take you wherever you want to go. The question isn't whether you have the power. The question is whether you're willing to use it. Let me tell you about the mindset that changes everything. I call it the mindset of personal responsibility mixed with unlimited possibility. Most people live with one or the other, but never both. Some people take full responsibility for their lives but limit their possibilities. They say things like, well, this is just how life is. I'm responsible for my situation, but there's not much I can do about it. Others believe in unlimited possibilities but refuse to take responsibility. They're always looking for the magic bullet, the quick fix, the easy way out. But when you combine personal responsibility with unlimited possibility, magic happens. You realize that not only are you responsible for where you are, but you also have unlimited power to change it. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're not trapped by your past. You're not limited by your current situation. You are the architect of your own destiny, the author of your own story, the creator of your own life. Now, let me break this down for you in a way that you can implement immediately. The first component of this mindset is what I call extreme ownership of results. This means that from this moment forward, you take complete responsibility for everything in your life. Everything. Your income, your relationships, your health, your happiness, your future. All of it. No more blaming the government. No more blaming your boss. No more blaming your spouse. No more blaming your parents. No more blaming the economy. You own it all. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Jim, that's not fair. Some things really aren't my fault. And you know what? You might be right. Maybe some things that happened to you weren't your fault. But here's what I've learned. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. What matters is whose responsibility it is to fix it. And the answer to that question is always the same. It's yours. You see, when you blame others, you give away your power. When you make excuses, you rob yourself of the opportunity to grow. When you point fingers, you take your hands off the wheel of your own life. But when you take complete responsibility, something magical happens. You reclaim your power. You become the driver instead of the passenger. You become the sculptor instead of the clay. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're not making enough money. The victim mindset says, it's not my fault. My boss doesn't pay me enough. The company is cheap. The economy is bad. I don't have the right connections. But the ownership mindset says, if I'm not making enough money, it's because I haven't made myself valuable enough yet. What skills do I need to develop? What value do I need to provide? What do I need to learn? What do I need to become? Do you see the difference? One approach leaves you powerless, waiting for someone else to change your situation. The other approach puts you in complete control, ready to take action, ready to create change. Which approach do you think leads to better results? The second component of this life-changing mindset is what I call investment thinking versus consumer thinking. Most people are consumers. They think about what they can get, what they can buy, what they can have, what they can enjoy right now. But successful people are investors. They think about what they can give, what they can contribute, what they can plant today that will grow into something magnificent tomorrow. Consumer thinking asks, what's in it for me right now? Investment thinking asks, what can I put in now that will pay dividends later? Consumer thinking focuses on the immediate reward. Investment thinking focuses on the long-term payoff. Consumer thinking spends. Investment thinking plants seeds. Here's how this applies to every area of your life. In your career, consumer thinking focuses on the paycheck. Investment thinking focuses on the skills you're developing, the relationships you're building, the reputation you're creating. In your relationships, consumer thinking focuses on what you can get from others. Investment thinking focuses on what you can give to others. In your personal development, consumer thinking looks for the quick fix. Investment thinking commits to the long journey of growth. The beautiful thing about investment thinking is that it creates a compounding effect in your life. Just like money invested wisely grows exponentially over time, everything you invest in yourself, in your relationships, in your skills, in your character, compounds and creates returns that far exceed your initial investment. But you have to be willing to plant seeds today and wait for the harvest tomorrow. Now let me share with you the third component of this mindset, and this one might challenge you more than the others. It's what I call embracing the discipline of discomfort. Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid discomfort, trying to stay in their comfort zone, trying to make things easy. But here's what they don't understand. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Easy is the enemy of achievement. Convenience is the enemy of character. Everything you want in life is on the other side of discomfort. The body you want is on the other side of the discomfort of exercise and discipline. The income you want is on the other side of the discomfort of developing new skills and taking risks. The relationships you want are on the other side of the discomfort of vulnerability and communication. The life you want is on the other side of the discomfort of change. But here's the secret that most people never learn. There are two types of discomfort in life. There's the discomfort of discipline, and there's the discomfort of regret. The discomfort of discipline weighs ounces, but the discomfort of regret weighs tons. The discomfort of discipline is temporary and leads to pride. The discomfort of regret is permanent and leads to pain. When you embrace the discipline of discomfort, you're essentially training yourself to do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. You're developing the muscle of self-discipline, the habit of following through, the character of reliability. And once you develop this, once you become someone who does what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, regardless of how they feel, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you about the fourth component of this mindset, thinking in decades, not days. Most people are focused on what they can get today, this week, this month. But extraordinary people think in decades. They ask themselves, where do I want to be 10 years from now? What kind of person do I need to become to get there? What do I need to start doing today to make that future inevitable? When you think in decades, daily setbacks become insignificant. When you think in decades, temporary failures become learning experiences. When you think in decades, you develop patience for the process and persistence through the problems. When you think in decades, you make different choices, different investments, different commitments. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. They want everything now, but they're not willing to wait for anything great. They want the harvest, but they're not willing to plant the seeds. They want the destination, but they're not willing to take the journey. But when you develop decade thinking, everything changes. You realize that you have time. You realize that small, consistent actions compound into massive results. You realize that the person you become in the process of pursuing your goals is more valuable than the goals themselves. You realize that success isn't an event, it's a process. It's not a destination, it's a journey. It's not something you get, it's something you become. The fifth component of this life-changing mindset is what I call value creation obsession. Instead of asking, how can I make more money, you ask, how can I provide more value? Instead of asking, how can I get what I want, you ask, how can I give what others need? Instead of asking, how can I be successful, you ask, how can I be useful? You see, the marketplace rewards value. The more value you provide, the more the marketplace rewards you. The more problems you solve, the more people you serve, the more lives you improve, the more success flows back to you. It's not about being selfless, it's about understanding how the game is played. It's about understanding that in a free market economy, those who serve the most people in the most valuable ways tend to be rewarded the most. But here's what most people miss. They think they need to figure out how to provide value before they start. They think they need to have all the answers before they begin. They think they need to be perfect before they can help others. But that's backwards thinking. You don't become valuable by thinking about becoming valuable. You become valuable by doing valuable things. You don't become useful by planning to be useful. You become useful by being useful. Start where you are with what you have for the people around you. Look for problems you can solve, needs you can meet, ways you can help. And don't worry about whether it's your calling or your passion or your purpose. Just focus on being useful. As you develop the habit of creating value, as you develop the skills of problem solving, as you develop the reputation for reliability, opportunities will find you. The market will reward you. Success will chase you down. Now, let me share with you the sixth component of this mindset. And it's one that separates the truly successful from everyone else. It's what I call continuous learning and adaptation. Most people stop learning when they finish school. They think education is something you do for a few years, not something you do for a lifetime. They think knowledge is something you acquire once, not something you must constantly update and upgrade. But in today's rapidly changing world, what got you here won't get you there. The skills that made you successful yesterday might make you obsolete tomorrow. The knowledge that was valuable 5 years ago might be irrelevant today. The strategies that worked in the past might fail in the future. The only constant is change, and the only way to thrive in a changing world is to become a constant learner. This means reading books, attending seminars, listening to podcasts, watching educational videos, taking courses, finding mentors, joining mastermind groups, engaging in challenging conversations. It means being curious instead of certain, being open instead of closed, being flexible instead of rigid. It means admitting when you don't know something and being excited about the opportunity to learn it. But learning isn't enough. You must also be willing to adapt, to change, to try new approaches, to abandon old methods that no longer work. You must be willing to be wrong, to make mistakes, to fail forward. You must be willing to evolve, to grow, to become a new version of yourself as often as necessary. The seventh and final component of this mindset is what I call relentless persistence with intelligent flexibility. This means you never give up on your ultimate destination, but you're always willing to change your route. You're committed to your vision, but you're flexible with your methods. You're stubborn about your goals, but you're adaptable with your strategies. Most people either give up too easily or stick with failing strategies too long. They either lack persistence or lack flexibility, but extraordinary people have both. They persist through setbacks, but they pivot when they need to. They're consistent with their efforts, but they're creative with their approaches. They never quit, but they're always willing to quit doing things that don't work. This requires wisdom, and wisdom comes from experience. And experience comes from making mistakes, and making mistakes comes from taking action. So you must be willing to try, to fail, to learn, to adjust, to try again. You must be willing to stay in the game long enough to figure out how to win the game. Now, let me bring all of this together for you in a way that you can implement immediately. The mindset that will change your life immediately is this: you take complete responsibility for your results. You think like an investor instead of a consumer. You embrace discomfort as the price of growth. You think in decades instead of days. You obsess over creating value for others. You commit to continuous learning and adaptation, and you persist with intelligence and flexibility. But knowing this isn't enough, understanding this isn't enough, agreeing with this isn't enough. You must apply this, you must live this, you must become this, and the beautiful thing is you can start right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, right now. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick one area of your life where you're not getting the results you want. Maybe it's your income, maybe it's your health, maybe it's your relationships, maybe it's your personal growth. Pick one area. Now, apply this mindset to that area. Take complete responsibility for your current results in that area. Stop blaming others, stop making excuses, stop pointing fingers, own it completely. Next, shift from consumer thinking to investment thinking in that area. Instead of asking what you can get, ask what you can give. Instead of focusing on immediate rewards, focus on long-term payoffs. Instead of spending, start planting seeds. Then identify the discomfort you've been avoiding in that area. What are you not doing because it's uncomfortable? What are you not facing because it's difficult? What are you not attempting because it's challenging? Make a commitment to embrace that discomfort, to lean into it, to make it your friend. Start thinking in decades for that area. Where do you want to be 10 years from now? What kind of person do you need to become to get there? What do you need to start doing today to make that future inevitable? Create a long-term vision and let it guide your daily actions. Focus on creating value in that area. How can you serve others? How can you solve problems? How can you make a difference? How can you be useful? Let value creation be your primary strategy for success. Commit to continuous learning in that area. What do you need to learn? What skills do you need to develop? What knowledge do you need to acquire? What experts do you need to learn from? Make learning a daily habit, not a one-time event. And finally, commit to relentless persistence with intelligent flexibility in that area. Decide that you will never give up, but you will always be willing to change your approach. You will stick with your vision, but you will adapt your methods. You will persist through setbacks, but you will pivot when necessary. If you do this, if you really do this, if you apply this mindset consistently and persistently, your life will begin to change immediately. Not because of some magic formula, not because of some secret technique, but because you will have become a different person. And different people get different results. But let me warn you about something. This mindset will challenge you every day. Your old habits will fight back. Your comfort zone will try to reclaim you. Your fears will try to stop you. Your doubts will try to convince you that it won't work. This is normal. This is expected. This is part of the process. The question isn't whether you'll face resistance. The question is whether you'll persist through the resistance. The question isn't whether you'll have doubts. The question is whether you'll act in spite of the doubts. The question isn't whether you'll feel like quitting. The question is whether you'll quit or keep going. Remember, success isn't about feeling good all the time. Success is about doing good all the time, regardless of how you feel. It's about showing up when you don't want to show up. It's about doing the work when you don't feel like doing the work. It's about being disciplined when you'd rather be comfortable. It's about being consistent when you'd rather be convenient. The mindset I've shared with you today isn't just a way of thinking. It's a way of living. It's not just a philosophy. It's a practice. It's not just something you understand. It's something you become. And when you become this, when you live this, when you practice this consistently, you don't just change your life. You transform it. You become someone who creates opportunities instead of waiting for them. You become someone who solves problems instead of complaining about them. You become someone who builds value instead of just consuming it. You become someone who takes action instead of just making plans. You become someone who persists through challenges instead of giving up at the first sign of difficulty. And here's the most beautiful part. When you become this kind of person, you don't just change your own life. You change the lives of everyone around you. You become an example of what's possible. You become a source of inspiration. You become a force for good in the world. You become someone who makes a difference, someone who matters, someone who leaves the world better than you found it. The choice is yours. You can continue living with the same mindset that got you where you are, or you can adopt the mindset that will take you where you want to go. You can continue being the same person you've always been, or you can become the person you're capable of being. You can continue getting the same results you've always gotten, or you can start getting the results you've always wanted. The power is in your hands. The opportunity is in front of you. The time is now. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to use it? Who are you going to become? The answers to these questions will determine not just what you achieve, but who you become in the process of achieving it. And that, my friends, is the mindset that will change your life immediately. Not because it's magic, but because it's truth. Not because it's easy, but because it works. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's effective. When you embrace this mindset, when you live this mindset, when you become this mindset, you don't just change your circumstances. You change your character. You don't just improve your situation, you improve yourself. You don't just create a better life, you create a better you. The journey begins with a single step, a single decision, a single moment when you choose to think differently, act differently, and live differently. That moment can be right now. That step can be the next one you take. That decision can be the one you make today. The question isn't whether you can do it. The question is whether you will do it. The question isn't whether it's possible. The question is whether you'll make it inevitable. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you to claim it. Your unlimited potential is waiting for you to unleash it. Your greatest possibilities are waiting for you to pursue them, but they won't wait forever. They won't wait for you to feel ready. They won't wait for you to have all the answers. They won't wait for you to be perfect. They're waiting for you to begin. They're waiting for you to start. They're waiting for you to take action. So take action, start today, begin now, become the person you're capable of becoming. Live the life you're capable of living. Achieve the success you're capable of achieving. Create the impact you're capable of creating. Make the difference you're capable of making. The world needs what you have to offer. The world needs who you can become. The world needs the unique value that only you can provide. Don't let another day pass without taking a step toward your extraordinary life. Don't let another week go by without making progress toward your unlimited potential. Don't let another month slip away without moving closer to your greatest possibilities. Time is your most valuable resource, and you can never get it back once it's gone. Use it wisely. Invest it carefully. Spend it on what matters most. Your life is a gift. Your potential is a gift. Your opportunity is a gift. What you do with these gifts is your gift back to the world. Make it count. Make it matter. Make it extraordinary. The mindset that will change your life immediately is now yours. The question is, what will you do with it?